we just talked about Indiana, Oklahoma City. We talked about Oklahoma City being kind of that rare top, they're a top defensive team. They're a top offensive team. Indiana, top 10 and top 15, respectively, in the two categories. Does any of what we're seeing here in this, particularly the NBA Finals, more so than the NBA playoffs, give you a feel as to how the Sacramento Kings should build this direction or how the Sacramento Kings should build this team out? There's been so much talk from Scott Perry to Doug Christie to everyone associated with the team in any sort of way about improving on defense, getting this type of defensive player, getting this type of defensive player, getting this guy who could do this on the defensive end. And I ask, is that the way to go when it comes to constructing this team? Are we looking for, and not specifically, but the players to like Alex Caruso? Is that who you're looking for? Are you looking for guys who you feel like have a high defensive basketball IQ? Talked about Jared Allen. Jared Allen can be that rim protector that you've asked for so many. Is that the type of player that we're looking for? Like, how do we want to construct this team moving forward?
So the first thing that I'm looking for if I'm Scott Perry and Doug Fisher.
Wow. Eric Fisher and Doug Christie on the mind, huh?
Man. Well, all right.
Okay, Lake Show.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
How did that?
Wow.
Well, I don't know.
There?
Like I don't know. I don't even know who you were talking about.
Fisher was a coach, and his name was Derek. Goes back to being a Laker. Your favorite? Nah, just believe it.
Doug Christie is, I'm looking for a point guard, and with that point guard, I think that's where I'm looking for the head of the snake, so to speak, with my defense. I need, especially if I got Zach LaVine at the 2, and he's not the strongest defender on the perimeter. It doesn't have to be a defense only point guard, but a guy that can give some resistance, much like a Drew Holiday, right? You would want Drew Holiday to be 2 or 3 years younger. So that's kind of the hang up with him. But a guy like that can defend on the perimeter, still get a couple buckets, knock down a jump shot, hit the 3 ball, orchestrate, be an organizer on the offensive end. And I think if you can get that, and I guess you're looking for a power forward, a 4, preferably a stretch 4, because a lot of people, and I'm not sure if I feel the same way, but a lot of people want to see Keegan go to the 3. They say he's not a 4. Mm-hmm. They want him to go to the key, go to the 3. So if you're able to get a point guard and a starting 4 out of this summer, that's the way I think you should orchestrate it. And I know I didn't say specifically like a defensive guy or whatever. I want competitors. That's the thing. I don't, it doesn't have to be like a reputation of just never playing defense. Like, I don't want to go for that. But if a guy like, what you got with Terrence Davis, what you got with Malik Monk in the playoffs, I want a little bit more of a defensive guy than that. But Malik was competing. Mm-hmm. Malik was getting after it, and he wasn't looked at as a defensive stalwart by any means. But competitors, and then specifically those 2 spots, I need to fill this offseason. And I think that's the jump start to what you're trying to do with the Kings.
Who's scoring on that team, though?
LaVine,
yeah.
LaVine, Keegan, I need him to have his 15 to 17. Domas is going to have 19 or so. My point guard, like I said, I can't have Eric Snow out there.
But what do you want from the point guard, though? Do you want LaMelo and Trey, or do you want Tyrese?
Tyrese.
Like, do you want? What I mean? Do you want the? What I mean is, do you want a traditional type point guard, or do you want a scoring point guard?
Well, in that,
I think
go ahead.
I think this team really needs buckets. Like, I think that's cool. You want to build defensive players and all that. Like, this team is gonna need scoring. Like, that's where the league is going. That's where your best year was, when you were scoring. You made the playoffs and all that. You went away from that and it got worse. Like, this team needs scoring.
Darius Garland is a scoring point guard now.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
like more so over being a Chris Paul type point guard. He's a
Yeah.
scoring point guard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree with you, Jesse. I understand exactly what you're saying. I look at that means Domas isn't here, right? And in those trades that we
He's
talked
just not
about,
at the forefront though. Yeah, like he's not.
one of those trades that we talked
Oh
about,
yeah.
Domas is still here. So if you're ready to make that move, then yeah, that's where I say I need a superstar back. I need a big time score guy like LaMelo.
Well, wait,
or
how
Trey.
is Domas not here?
Well, some of the trades that we had talked about, Domas is still
Like
here.
the LaMelo. Oh,
LaMelo's
Oh.
gone. But we talked about Darius Garland.
yeah.
And Jared Allen. Yeah, do that. You have to move Domas in that situation. When building this team up, I'm from the premise of you're probably not going to trade Domantas Sabonis, regardless of what I suggested last week. So you're not going to be able to afford.
And last night.
Last night as well. You're not going to be able to afford a LaMelo Trey Young. Like you can't.
Sure,
you
right,
can't
yeah,
get there. So
yeah.
now I'm looking at more cost efficient type point guards. That's where those guys.
What you could do with Zach.
I don't think you can move Zach.
I don't think you can either. But when we talked about like the likes of LaMelo and some of those guys, you're not saving money. With Zach, you actually are. But
Do you think Atlanta's
might not
trying to
be
win
saving
still
as
right now?
quickly. I don't know what I haven't known what Atlanta's been trying to do for years.
Like I'd love to go up to the gym like, hey, here's 3 first-round picks, maybe 4 if you're nice or whatever. It's like just give us Trey Young.
Did they just hire a new GM today?
They shuffled around their front office today, I believe. I don't know what the exact titles were and all that stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
I know Trey Young's not the most popular because he doesn't play defense and all that, but I would love a Trey Young on this team.
I would too. I think
so thing, you're leaning on buckets.
I want buckets. Yeah, I want buckets. Like Trey, you can't be a nothing. And
but that's what Trey is.
I was say, I think you can work around a guy like Trey though. Everyone I don't think you need this team full of like defensive stoppers or whatever. Like you can be the Indiana Pacers where we're all getting buckets and about 15th on defense or whatever average. I'm not looking for a Drew Holiday type for this team.
But here's the, and I'm with you. I'll take Trey Young in a heartbeat. I'll take Trey Young on this team in a heartbeat. Send in the trade, make it happen. Here's the issue. You've got, and I think Zach is a little bit better than people give credit for, but you've got Trey, Zach LaVine, and Domas in your starting and finishing lineups. And then you probably have.
There's no way Domas would be here in a deal for that, would it?
You
said Trey Young?
Yeah. That's okay. So that was when I was saying like Drew Holiday and all this other stuff. I'm saying you still have Domantas Sabonis. That's why I didn't factor in Trey Young. If you got Trey Young in here, any way you could get him in here. Like
if I bring in Trey Young, I'm willing to build around him and whatever happens with Domas and the other guys happens. Like I'm building around Trey Young. He can't he doesn't have to be. No, it doesn't have to be like.
But
yeah, you build around
this
Trey.
Goes back to my original question. Like, how are we building this team out? Because if you have Trey Young on your team, you're kind of like, whatever happens on the defensive end happens. Like you said a second ago, correct me, like you can't be, or maybe Jesse said, you can't be nothing on the defensive end. With all due respect to how talented Trey is, nothing on the defensive end.
I'll sacrifice that one. Whereas everyone else can't be Trey Young. Trey Young's getting me 27 and 10. Everyone, someone else has to step up defensively.
Okay. You don't have those guys though.
That's the thing though. Like if you run with Drew, Sabonis, and LaVine,
you almost can't have Sabonis.
Great.
You need a better defender. Like if you're going to have Trey out there, you almost can't have Sabonis out there. You can't
have Trey, Sabonis, and Zach LaVine.
Right. Yeah.
Like that. And to your point, Sabonis is probably involved in that trade, and maybe you're trying to get more of a defensive center.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying stuff.
I'm
trying to make this team work.
I think
Kyle Madsen drew up a trade. Would you do Zach LaVine, Devin Carter, and 3 firsts for Trey Young?
Zach LaVine, Devin Carter, and 3 firsts?
By way of the trade machine. I know you hate that, but
3 firsts?
We just drew that up in the studio right now.
That's a lot.
What's the rest of? I mean, I'll look it up. Are you
only getting Trey Young back? You can't get nothing back in return, like just a random bench guy or something like that.
Yes, Kyle Madsen, GM, says we're only getting Trey Young back.
Trey Young with a player option next year.
So what you're looking at in that situation?
So I need assurances he's back. That's first. He's got a player option for 48.9 next year.
Mhm.
I'm not trading 3 first-round picks unless I get
Right.
the Siakam head nod that I'm here.
Right.
I'm Sacramento.
The
More Sacramento than Kenny.
what?
That's what he'd say.
No, I don't think there's anybody more Sacramento than Kenny. All right, let's just make that a fact.
Lake Show.
Damn, that ain't got nothing to do with that. Was Carmelo.
Knicks fan.
That was
All right.
Carmelo.
All right. My bad.
Um,
That's first thing, by the way. I need that back. 3 first-round picks. I need the
yeah, I need the assurance.
I need the assurance.
Yeah, and you said Pascal. Not only is he picking up that option, but if you want to, we'll sign the extension.
Well, that's what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I meant. I didn't mean the option. I meant the extension. That's
Right.
3 years, or
Yeah.
that's 3 first-round picks. I need you for at least 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. So now you're looking at Trey. Keon probably starts at the 2. Keegan goes to the 3. Still got to get a power forward.
And Tomas is your 5.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are answering my question without actually answering it.
What's that?
We're going offense.
Yeah, I mean, I would that. So
And
yes.
and
I
Doug
would go-
can beg like, hey, if y'all could just do something on the defensive end, we'd be in good shape.
Well, a roundabout way, I guess, to answer your question, like, yeah, that's how I built it out. I'm not going for, and I'm not saying you're asking this. I'm not going for the 92 Knicks. Like, hell no. I know that's Doug Chris, Scott Perry. No, I want guys. Then this is where I talk about that will compete. They may not be known as defensive players, but I want them. If I'm asking them to do X, Y, and Z, they will try their damnness to get it done on the defensive end, but they're probably primarily looked at as offensive players in their career.
Yeah, I'm out on the Drew Holiday, Levine, Keegan, 4, and Sabonis lineup. I just don't think you're getting much scoring there at all. I don't think that's a recipe for success in the league right now.
All right, let's see what Stanley talking about. I don't think it's gonna be any of this. We haven't heard
Trey
from
Young, that's his
Stanley.
guy.
Yeah,
That is. That's
yeah,
right.
his guy. Yeah, me and Stanley see eye to eye right there.
Stanley, what do you think about all this?
Lord have mercy. Something must have happened and it hit somebody over the head. That light went off, but it's better late than never. I've been telling you guys for years, get Trey Young here. Do what you got to do. I told you that. This is a younger version of Steph Curry. I've told you for years to get Trey Young.
You have.
And now the light has come on.
It's on.
Well, I don't think we never didn't want Trey Young.
I tried to tell you that this is what this team needed. And I'm glad to hear you didn't say we didn't need him. You just didn't endorse him.
Huh?
But now you're doing it. You finally got around to the way I was thinking.
Stanley, I'm glad we finally came. Stanley, we love you, brother. It was great to
Shout
hear
out
from
Stanley.
you. I'm sorry it took so long.
Stanley was right.
That was
five year
sorry,
war.
I'm sorry it took so long to come around on
That
Trey.
was the least contentious call we've ever had with Stanley.
That's
That's
because,
my boy.
Well, that's
Stanley,
because
my boy.
we're on Stanley's side with this one.
Yeah, we're all together. We're all united.
Yeah.
I think that might be the only time that'll happen.
Yeah, we'll wait for football
Talk about the
season to get here.
Giants too. He likes Barry Bonds. So,
Okay.
we talk about Barry Bonds. We'll be linked up on that.
Trey is the kind of first generation Steph Curry player, though. Like to his point, I don't know if he's a younger version of Steph, but he certainly is. I think inarguably the first Steph generation player who came into the league and was shooting. Went into Oklahoma, was shooting threes from, all over the court, like we saw Steph do so often. I don't know. There's a new, group in charge in Atlanta. It'll be interesting to see how they approach this offseason. What the market looks like for Trey. Again, 45.9 this year, essentially $46 million, and a $49 million player option the year to follow.
I would take Trey Young here in a heartbeat. And if it was,
you could be, correct me if I'm wrong, with that player option, you could be in, if I want out, get me out territory, right? If you're Trey and we've talked about Atlanta's desire for Trey Young. We could be at the point where if Trey Young doesn't want to be in Atlanta anymore, he has to start pressing those buttons to get where he wants to go to be able to sign an extension wherever that is.
Yeah. I think about it though, and I just don't know why Trey would want to leave Atlanta if they're willing to pay him.
Well, I think that's a question. I think the if is legit, if they're willing to pay him, because you're going nowhere. That team's going nowhere.
I would try to build around Trey Young if I was.
You have tried. Unless you're trusting this new front office.
Yeah.
You have tried repeatedly.
Have they?
Have they not?
They hadn't really done nothing. They just kind of give him the team that he has. They haven't
That's
tried
not true.
to build
Didn't they
around
go
him.
get DeJounte Murray?
They did.
They've tried to go.
They traded for DeJounte
I'm
Murray.
not saying they were good at it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. I just feel like they failed.
Murray, you got Okongwu, who's their center, Capella. It feels like they could have split those two up at some point and got him something else.
Yeah.
You got Jalen Johnson. You were able to draft him. He got hurt, so who knows what happens there. I just don't. I don't feel like DeJounte Murray was a good call. They got him, but I don't feel like they've been aggressive enough to try and pair him with other top flight players. It just kind of
they certainly haven't done.
And draft these players and just say, hey, Trey, just kind of play with these guys.